Hi, this is Jennifer, your course facilitator. I want to go over 4 things this morning that might help you during your projects. These are things that I kind of gathered together as I was looking through your discussion forum posts on the Snagit project. And these are things that actually have to do with both Snagit and Camtasia. So they might help you. If they do, I hope so. If not, well, just listen anyway. The first has to do with working inside Snagit and creating an image and then wanting to work on it later and having everything flattened and already as an image file because you save your files as ping images. Well, one thing you can do if you don't know about it already, you can save a Snagit project as a snag project, S-N-A-G file, and save it so that later on if you need to make changes you can easily go back and do that. For instance, right now I'm in the Snagit editor and I've got this picture of these fish right here. Now let's say I want to add a rectangle up here for some reason. I add it, I've got it up here, I don't know what I'd want to add it for, but let's just say I do, and I want to add a call out. And let's say I want to use this bubble here. And if you don't know already, when you have this type of call out, you can actually move this little tail of the call out depending on where you need to place it on any side. Just drag it around to where you want it. I'm going to place it here and move it a little bit here so it looks like this little animal speaking. And I'm going to make him say, "Hello there." Okay, and I'm going to center that in my bubble. Alright, now if I were saving this image I would typically go to File, Save As, and maybe save it to my desktop as penguins, okay, as a JPEG file. Now let's say that later on I wanted to edit that image. Well, currently I would probably get rid of this, open up my ping image later, and try to work on that. But these callouts would be here because they would have been flattened into the image when you save the image. If I wanted to work on it later, what I would do is File, Save As, and instead of a JPEG or ping image, I would select the Snagit capture file. And I might save it as penguins.snag and save it to whatever folder I wanted to save it to. For these purposes, I'm just saving to the desktop. Now what's going to happen is, it might take it just a second to save. Now when I open my project, and it's on my desktop, and I called it Penguins, it is here somewhere, right here. It'll look something like this, a snag file. When I open that up, my callouts are still separated from the image. If you use a ping file or a JPEG file, those are not going to be separated from the image. But with a snag file, they are. So I could either simply delete this, or if I wanted to undo that and get it back, I could do that, and maybe save what I've typed there, by there instead of hi there. I could then save that as yet another JPEG or ping image or whatever I wanted. The trick here though is you have to be sure that when you save a snag file, you're not planning to put it anywhere else. The snag file is only a working file inside the Snagit editor. You can't expect other people to be able to read a snag file, unless of course they have Snagit themselves, Snagit editor. But if you place that inside a video or inside a document, a snag file will not show up as such. You have to have a JPEG, a ping image, that type thing. But to keep it as a working file for future reference, you would save a snag file and then save a ping or a JPEG or a GIF image for your use in a document or that sort of thing. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, one thing to remember with images inside Snagit and Camtasia, don't stretch them to be greater in size than their resolution originally was. For instance, if I've got, let's see, let me find a good one here. Let me go to Camtasia and I'll show you what's happening. I'm in Camtasia and I've got this image that's it's actually a little cartoon character of me, and I happen to be an alum of the technical preview program with TechSmith. As you can see here, the dimensions of this image when I hover over it are 138 by 138 pixels. If I add that to my timeline, I get this. Now you can see right here I'm at 100%, so I can see what that's really going to look like on my video at 100%. Typically you'll be in the shrink to fit mode and it's going to look pretty small. If you want to see what things are going to look like in a 100% mode, select this tab and then select 100% and you can see what it's going to look like when your video is produced at its 100% capability. If I start stretching this out from the corner, so I'm maintaining the ratio of length to height, watch what's happening with my text and even with my images. The pixelation is causing them to get blurrier and blurrier. If I go back, things are beginning to get clearer, so you can pretty much see what's happening there. So again, don't take your images farther in terms of making the image larger than their original resolution allowed for, because you'll be sorry you did. You'll end up with a lot of blurry images. Third has to do with something I can't really show you that easily, but if you are producing a file in either Snagit, if you have recorded a video file there, or if you've recorded a video through Camtasia and you're attempting to export it to YouTube automatically, you may remember when you go to produce, you actually have this share to YouTube button. This should work. And I've noticed there are some messages from some of you saying that you couldn't make that work. You'd start to upload it and the file just would never upload. My concern is that potentially the only thing I can really think of is that you are at a computer where there is a firewall or some other protection such that your organization is not allowing you to communicate fully with YouTube. Now, if you're working from a school, for instance, there is a strong possibility that your school has a firewall set up that will not allow you to upload things to YouTube. So you might want to check that out. Otherwise, get in touch with me and we can try to work through that. But these other options will work just as well. If you're producing an MP4 file where you have it up to a 480 pixel width or length, you can use that. For larger files, you'll need something like the 720. But just so you know, you may have a firewall in effect that is making issues like that happen. Then we can look at, some of you had an issue with undoing your annotations in Snagit. And this is something, actually the first part of what I was just talking about may have made this clearer to you. Let's say that I add this arrow. This is a little image I have. I've added this arrow here, which you can see I'm moving up and down. And let's say that I need to flatten this file. I flatten all, so now I can't move that at all. It's stuck there. And some of you were concerned because you couldn't figure out how to undo that easily. The easiest way to do this is simply to come up to the undo button, and it will undo the last action you took. At that point, you may have to go back a couple of steps until you can see that it is now a separate call out. But what will happen is everything you did past that time that you flatten the image or whatever will be undone with each time you click this button. Now, if you've done several things to your call out, it may be easier simply to delete that call out or that annotation and do another one. Let's say maybe we wanted to add a cursor here, and maybe then we wanted to add a call out with some text. I'll just put some text here, and then I flatten my image, and then I thought, oh, I really want to do something else with this cursor. My issue is, first, when I click the undo, it's going to deal with that text call out, and it's going to end up erasing that, and then eventually it will get me to my cursor. So it's going to undo every action you did past that time. So those are just 4 things that might help you as you work on your projects. Let me know if you have any issues, and thanks so much.